Hi, this is Mark, and welcome to Tea With, and I'm gonna be having tea with Sue. Now, Sue actually is in personal development, and she actually does hand analysis. And tonight, Sue is going to do a real life hand analysis, and I'm very looking forward to this whole entire event. And she's actually going to analyze my hand. I took a print of my hand and actually had to scan it in, and we'll see parts of the hand as she goes through the process, and then we'll take it from there. So, Sue, do you want to introduce yourself to everybody?
Yep, Mark. So, hello, I'm Sue. I live in Ireland. I come from England originally. I love to encourage and inspire people. I love nature, kayaking and surfing. I'm a lifelong learner and I'm a mother of two boys. And I'm a hand analyst as well.
That is very interesting. And real quickly, um, how did you get into hand analysis?
Okay, so some years ago I was searching for deeper meaning in my life and some sort of special purpose. And so I just Googled life purpose and I came across scientific hand analysis, which I'd never heard of. I realized that it was aligned to palmistry but different. Was very interested in it and sent off to have my prints analysed, and my hand read, and the results were very inspiring to me. So I decided to study it, and that's what I did. And I've done a lot of hands, and people are always amazed. Some people have changed their lives and their jobs because of the reading that they've got, and with amazing results. So I'm very encouraged by it. I think it can really help people.
That is very awesome, gift to have, Sue. And you must be really in touch with your intuition to be able to do something like this. And can you explain that?
Well, you can use intuition with it, well, I do, but mainly it is a scientific process. So you learn the laws of this science and apply those to what you're reading, but it's more when you're bringing it all together that the intuition would come into it more. But it's a very accurate scientific tool. It's not so much like palmistry. Probably people use psychic abilities and intuition more so than science. So
Yeah. So let's get started,
okay.
and I will show the hand that we're working on, and then we'll see how this goes. So I'm gonna put on a screen share, and we see the hand.
Not yet. It's still that there's part of the hand, yeah. If we just
Okay.
scroll down a little bit and show the fingers.
All right, so we'll show the fingers. Okay.
Okay,
You
just
see the
scroll down
fingers?
just a tiny bit. Now go up a little bit so there's more of them on the screen. So,
Okay.
okay. I mean, right. So what I'm going to talk to you about first of all is the fingerprint patterns that you have, which actually aren't showing so clearly there. And what the fingerprint patterns told me is that you have loops on most of your fingers, loop patterns, but on the ring finger, which is known as the Apollo finger, and on the little finger, which is known as the Mercury finger, you have whorls. Now, this is what defines your life purpose, and your life purpose is so aligned to what you're doing. I was so excited when I saw it. Is creative communications from the heart, person with a message in the spotlight. So, that's completely fits with what you're doing, Mark, and I thought it would anyway. Because I love this tool is so accurate. So that means that you have um, it's a deep insights about certain aspects of life, that you are extremely good at communicating those things, and you come at it from a place of love. It's not from a place of just trying to inform people. It's a deep sense of love. So that is your life purpose in a nutshell. And you're on the life path of service and love. And being on the life path of service means that you want to help other people, basically serving other people, but you want to do it by teaching, and the life path of love as well. So you're teaching with love from the heart again. So that's a beautiful life purpose to have. And then you have all the other fingerprints, because they're lower in ranking than the world's. That is your life challenge, and your life challenge is all around emotional authenticity and vulnerability skills. So it's being able to feel the correct emotions in the moment, in a situation or with a person, to feel true emotions and not to substitute them for other emotions. You know, like sometimes people think they're angry at somebody, but that isn't actually what's going on. It's not about the person. That's an old emotion. So you're not feeling the true emotion of what's going on in the moment. So that's one of your big life challenges, which is quite common actually, because I think in the world now it's a challenge for a lot of people, because we get so disconnected from our hearts, and we're sort of up in our heads all the time. Right, so that's your life purpose and life challenge and life path. So now we'll go on to the fingers there, and you can see, you may be able to see, your little finger, the Mercury finger, is very well represented on the paper there. I mean, it's a very strong, sturdy looking finger. All the three portions are printed really, really well, and it's an exceptionally long Mercury finger. And Mercury is all about clear communications, insights, and intimacy skills. So that actually fits very well with your life purpose, communication finger. I mean, it's absolutely massive, really, compared to your other fingers, so there's no way you're getting away from the communications purpose. So if I just move on there to the next finger that's best represented is your Jupiter finger, and Jupiter is all about leadership and visionary skills. So you have visionary ideas that you communicate very, very well to others. So let's just move on. So you've got, let's see, the thumb. Now your thumb, the top section is quite big, and that shows that you have good willpower and you take action, and that's very good for, again, for your life purpose. So what do you think about what you've heard so far about your life purpose?
I think that is very accurate, and it's pretty amazing that you got that from reading my fingerprints and my finger.
Yeah, that's just from your fingerprints. Yeah.
That is really so. Obviously, you've been studying this for quite a while, and what's the method that you see all this?
Well, it's in the training, so we have all the material that shows us the patterns and which fingers they're on is very, very important. Like, for instance, you have the whirl on the Apollo finger, and Apollo, which is your ring finger, Apollo is all about the creative urge, the creator in you, and the artist, the innovator, your brilliance. That's what Apollo is about. So you have a high-ranking print on that finger, and you have a high-ranking print on the Mercury finger, which again was about communications and insights and negotiation skills and stuff like that. So those two together, you put those two together, so you have creative communications. And the print that's on those two fingers is from the life path of service. So that's where the service comes in. The other fingers have loops, and loops are represent love. So that's how love affects what you're doing, because the rest of your fingers have got the love prints on them. Because they're lower ranking, they're put into your life challenge, and that's why your life challenge is all about love. But there is a system. I mean, it's a man called Richard Unger brought all this together. He made this system over like 40 years, tested it out on hundreds of thousands of people, and that's how it rings true. You know, we have a structure that we have to go by. We can't use intuition on that. I mean, that is scientific, and we have to use that. But it like, you know, that resonates with you. And I wasn't surprised when I saw, when you sent me your prints, I was not surprised to see that, because I can see that in you and what you're doing, and it's obvious. So that's that system. So we can move down to the rest of the hand a little bit. Have a drink. It's not there.
Oh,
Here it is.
We got to make this smaller here. I keep on talking. I'll work on it.
Okay then. Right. So we'll talk about your heart line, which is the first line that we come to. It starts on the left of the hand, underneath the little finger, and tracks across the middle of the palm, and it kind of stops halfway. And this type of line that you have is known as a hermit line, and it means that you have the qualities of loyalty, that you show your feelings through doing things for people, that you have a need for freedom and space, and when you get that freedom, it opens up your heart, and if you don't get it, it can kind of close that off. And it's got a little line that joins it to the headline, which is the line below it, and that means that you can be extremely focused for long periods of time on projects and stuff like that. Also, we've got different hands now. Also, so we'll move on to your headline, and that's about how your thinking style. So your headline tells me that you are an intuitive thinker, and you have, you know, you've very deep feelings that guide you.
Now, where's the headline?
It starts above the thumb, halfway between the thumb and the index finger on the palm. There's a little notch out of the hand you can see, and the line comes across from there and then tracks downwards. Can you see it?
Okay, I see it.
Yeah. So it kind of looks like it joins onto the heart line, and it does. There's a little line that joins it. Yeah. Well, you just above that sort of blanked out area that's in the middle of the palm.
It's right here in the middle of the palm over here.
Yeah, on the right hand side, it comes across, and you can't actually see. It's a little bit blanked out, and then it carries on down the palm to the other side of the hand into the zone which is known as the moon zone.
Gotcha.
And you actually have quite a developed moon zone, which means that you're very imaginative, intuitive, and you look for meaning in things, in life in general. And also then if you just go across the other side of the hand, where the thumb joins the palm, that's called the Venus zone, so you might have to scroll down a little bit there. And the Venus zone, your Venus zone is large, and that describes you as a sensual, fun-loving, generous, and sociable person. But you see, you have like a groove that goes across that zone. If you just scroll down a tiny bit, you can see a bit more of it.
Yes.
And that can mean many things, but often it's to do with, it's like a deep sense of betrayal, or where maybe you had to take sides in a very deep and meaningful situation in your life, possibly when you were young, very young, or it could just be where you felt, let's see, unearthed and uncomfortable to the degree that it affected you deeply. What else have we got here? Oh, okay, so we've got the lifeline, which starts at the headline and comes down round the Venus mound, past that groove we were talking about, and down the middle of the palm. So it's to the right of that kind of blanked out area, and it comes downwards.
Right.
If you put the cursor on the screen, I could probably show you. Oh, well. Okay. So that line, that's your lifeline. The lifelines don't actually tell anybody that how long they're going to live or anything like that. It's usually about vitality and stamina and how grounded you feel in the world. Now your lifeline, as it goes down, it kind of stops, and then it shoots off over into the moon zone, and it's like, it could describe, you know, like you moved somewhere, like when you were young, you got uprooted and moved away from the familiar place you lived in, or within you, in your psyche, in your personality, there was a very big shift of maybe awareness, or in how you felt in your life, something like that. So that's what that's describing. But it's a good line. It's a nice thickness. It's not broken anywhere else. So, you know, vitality looks good to me from that line.
That's
so then join. Sorry, that's the lifeline. Yeah. So you're alive, Mark. And so coming up from the bottom of the palm, we go down.
Okay.
Right down to the bottom of the Venus mound, you've got a line that comes from the right-hand side. It curves around, goes over the lifeline, and weaves its way up your palm. And that's one of your. You've got to go down for that. It's one of your lines of ambition, and that ambition again comes from the sense of love and enjoyment, and that side of life. You also have another one of those lines that comes up from the middle of your palm, and that's trekking over towards your Mercury finger, towards the little finger. So that's the sense of ambition to do with communication. So you are driven to communicate, which is, again, goes in line with your life purpose, as far as I'm concerned. And then you have another one of these lines that joins onto that line and goes up the center of the palm towards the middle finger, the Saturn finger, and that's a sense of purpose. So this is like 3 ambition lines, which means you can maybe work yourself too hard, or have, you know, too many projects or a lot of projects on the go at the one time that you're equally as passionate about. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's whether, if it affects you bad, you know, if it drains your energy, then it's a bad thing. But it could be a very good thing. So what else have we got? Let's have a look. So lots of projects. Yeah, oh, and maybe early responsibility when you were young, taking on responsibility young. You could be kind of addicted to doing things a lot, you know, and have to make yourself slow down. What else have we got going on here? So did we talk about the Jupiter finger is leadership as well, and visionary ideas. So you definitely have been been using leadership energy in your life to have such a strongly set index. That's your index finger, the Jupiter finger. It's strongly set. It's the index finger.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
so you've been using that energy, Mark, so you definitely are a leader because you use leadership energy in your life most of the time. Now, at the top of the palm, it is quite hard to see. It's just underneath the middle finger mostly, and then below that it doesn't really show up in that print very well, and it's called a girdle of Venus, even though it's nowhere near the Venus mound. And what that describes is you know, kind of a heightened sensitivity to the suffering in the world, or certain types of suffering, and it makes you sort of very warm and loving and very sensitive. So you know, sometimes people have to. I have this, and it's like you know, have to stop listening to the news and immersing yourself in all the the terrible tragedies that are happening in the world. Can affect you too much emotionally if you're not careful.
Mm-hmm.
Right. What else do we have?
So that's right under the.
It's a line. It's just a little line under the index finger.
Okay.
It's just a tiny little mark, and then if you go down a little bit further underneath that, if you really look, there's another little line.
Yes.
They are quite hard to see on the screen there.
I see it.
So, so we'll go on to your hand shape, and your hand shape is a mixture of the earth hand and the fire hand. And the earth part of that, again, is about loyalty, practicality. It means you're very tactile, that you have a good degree of integrity, and you like to simplify things. And the fire aspect talks of you know, an excitable sort of character, passionate, vivacious, you're charismatic, impulsive. Could get scattered easily. That's the only really downside of that. So, do you have any questions, Mark, on anything else?
So the hand shape is what you just described.
Yeah, yeah.
So I can relate to that. You definitely have been very accurate with your description here,
Yeah.
and it's pretty amazing. I'm very amazed at how you get all this from looking at the line. So this is totally different than, like you said, someone that had to read the palm like a fortune teller.
Yeah.
You're actually into the science about analyzing the hand, and
yeah.
you know, this is factual stuff.
Yeah, and also if I was in person with you, I would be taking note of the color of your hand, of your palm, of the skin. I would be feeling the skin to see whether it was very fine or whether it was coarse, and looking at the skin ridges to see how much they stood out. I'd also be testing all the flexibility of each finger and the different joints in the fingers, and that would all be telling me stuff. And also pressing down on the palm to see how hard or soft. Some people have squidgy hands, and some people have really hard hands, and that all means something. So that would, you know, that's another complete layer on top of what we've already done. And yeah, hands look different in the flesh, obviously, than they do in a print. So, right. And also the thickness, when you look at the palm from the side, the thickness of the hand in general. And the thumb's very important because there's a top flexibility and then there's the bottom flexibility, and that tells us a lot about a person. You know, like if your thumb bends completely back from the bottom joint, you could be sort of, basically it's saying you're over flexible and you give in too easily. Whereas if it's very stiff, then you'd stand by your own decisions, and you wouldn't be swayed easily. So there's a lot more. There's even a lot more to it.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is very, very amazing. You
Just
know,
looking to see if there's anything else I can say here. While I'm at it. I think we'll have to leave it at that for now. Yeah, but you'll be able to listen to this again and sort of absorb it and think about what you think about it and how it affects you, you know, what it means for you. But
well,
you know, I don't think it's going to change your life because you're already doing it. You know, you're already living that life purpose.
so it's kind of it really is very factual and accurate about how, you know, the science just really depicts what the actuality about the person you're reading and everything. So I'm kind of speechless over here.
Well, I tell you, Mark, the lines in your hand, the reason they are the way they are is because they're actually, well, you've heard Mark talking about what they're called, the engineers that build the roads, you know, in our minds, basically, and make the new neural pathways to our new thinking, you know, like we're doing now with changing scripts and all of that stuff. Well, what happens is the way we habitually have lived and felt, the emotions that we have, that we attribute to certain situations, they send messages through neural pathways, through nerve impulses throughout our bodies, and some of the energy comes out into the hand, and it actually makes those lines over time. You start off with a certain line, but those lines will take a direction as we grow, and you'll get all the smaller lines are all added in because of how we think, and things that happen to us. You know, like I was saying about the lifeline. You know, a child being moved away from all their best friends when they're a certain age and moved somewhere that's absolutely strange and they're very unhappy will cause a line to change if it affects them that deeply. So that's how reading someone's palm is scientific and totally individual. And palmistry is a different. My grandmother was a palmist, and I found it fascinating as a child. But palmistry is okay, and I've had loads of different palm readings, but I prefer the scientific approach myself because I can prove it to people. You know, and people tend to, you know, they tend to like that. And I'm in both camps really. I'm very spiritual, and I like sort of I like surprising and weigh out things, but I also like science too. So we have it all with this.
So tell me about a situation in which somebody, you know, came to you for hand analysis and how it helped them change their life.
Well, okay. Well, recently a lady came to me. She was an older lady, and she phoned me and she said, I hope this is going to help me, or will this help me? Because she said she'd been really depressed and she was utterly lost in her life. That was her words to me, and I felt completely. It's a big responsibility, especially in that sort of situation. So, you know, I said I thought I could help her, and I went to do the reading. So I did the reading, and even while I was doing it, she was, well, again, she was amazed. I actually do reports, so she had a 25-page report about her hand, which I left with her, and then I went back to her 3 days later, and we did a coaching session, and she said she already could see what she wanted to do, why she'd got into the situation she'd got into. She was totally infused about her life. She's going to move away. You know, that was within a week she made that decision. And another man, he was in building for years. He was a builder and he employed people and he worked really hard. But when I did his hand, it said that he was supposed to be leading people in the community, with service and love, like you, and he was supposed to be helping other people achieve their ambitions. He stopped his building work. He trained. He went to college for a year, and he trained to work with youth. And now he said he could not be happier. So there's loads of stories like that. But these sort of stories, or people that have had deep sadness through, like losses, family losses and children, and I've had that. So I mean, I can resonate with people that have been in that situation. It just seems to turn around how they're thinking about things. When they see what they're supposed to be doing, that they have a purpose, and it obviously isn't to be grieving someone for the rest of their life. It just makes them want to change and want to live, that new purpose and that new life. Mostly people want to help other people. Well, they suddenly see that their experience is going to help all these other people. They just seem to give up all the investment that they have in sorrow, basically. I mean, it's just so diverse. Sometimes it's just some people have a very kind of like a factual reading and a very factual life purpose, but that suits them. They go, yeah, that's exactly the information I needed. Now I can make my decision. So I see it as a tool for many areas of life. It could be career, it could be family life, romance, all sorts of things.
That's fascinating, and I definitely believe this definitely takes a typical palm reading to a different level.
Yeah.
And I have a question for you, because obviously there could be someone out there that could be watching the show right now, or it could be in the future. It could be someone that because this is recorded, so it could be someone watching this show probably next week, next month, next year. It could be someone that you know or don't know, and it's like, wow, I mean, who would have thought about doing hand analysis? What advice would you give someone that is kind of like want to do something, but it's not your typical regular job?
What exactly do you mean, Mark? Sorry, I didn't quite understand.
Well, you're doing hand analysis, right?
Yeah, which is unusual.
And it's something that you really connect with.
Yeah.
There could be somebody that has like that probably might want to do hand analysis, or angel reading or something like that. That's not like a typical job, like working in office or construction, something like that. But this isn't like your typical thing that many people do, and they're kind of like not sure about it, but they have like an inward drive like you have. Yeah. What advice do you give someone to do whatever they want to do?
Well, I'd say don't give up the day job straight away. Train. Decide what you want to do. If you know what you want to do, just start training. On the side of what you're doing. Have your hands read by anyone. There's hand analysts online. Have the fingerprints read. Find out what your life purpose is, which will help you decide whether the thing you fancy doing is aligned with where you're supposed to be going in life. Or have an angel card reading, or just have anything that resonates with you. That's what I would say. I've had loads of different readings, tarot, angel, all sorts of things, and at different times they were all applicable, and they all helped me. But hand analysis helped me more because my purpose is inspirational communicator and spiritual or inspirational guide to help people through crises of meaning. And I do seem to attract, most of my clients are going through a crisis of meaning. And I don't advertise that or anything. That is just, they are the people that seem to come to me. And I've had some deep crisis of meaning during my life, so I feel equipped to go there with them. I can go there with them and not get emotionally distraught because I'm helping them. I'm at that point holding up the light, whereas other people did that for me. So, you know, that inspired me to go forward with what I had been kind of doing with people, but just in a you know, accidental capacity years ago. Even from when I was a child, I was always doing that, and I just didn't even realise I was doing it. So I think it just kind of having some sort of reading, it allows you to believe something about yourself that has always been true, but you haven't necessarily seen. I think people should go with their hearts, go with if they're being pulled. If you can't help, you know, following something and you're really being pulled and it's not something that hurts other people or hurts you, and as like Tom would say, more life for all, I think you should go with it. And if you're feeling pushed, I would say don't go with it.
So, Sue, how does somebody get a hold of you? I mean, I you know, I know that you have a website, and I know that you have an email. But if somebody's watching, you know, the show and they want to, you know, use you for a hand analysis, maybe coaching or whatever, what's the best way? And spell out the website so they could check you out.
Yeah, I suppose it would be the website, and it's the website's called www.shinebydesign.com, and there's hyphens between shine, by, and design. So it's shine-by-design.com, and it's like that because there's another website called Shine by Design, but that's about automobiles or something. So that's why I've got the hyphens, but I already had the name, so that's the name I've been using. Or Asumari Richards at yahoo.ie, or shinebydesign@mail.com.
And that's BY, right? Shine.
Yeah, BY.
Hyphen BY hyphen design.com.
Yeah, yeah.
And what kind of information will they find over there?
Well, they'll find information like I've shared tonight about the scientific aspect of hand analysis, how it came about, what it can do for people, you know, what you'll learn, a little bit about me, and you know why or how I got into it. I think is on there, and how to. There's a video on how to print your palms for a hand reading, and how to take your fingerprints accurately, and sign up boxes for different things.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember.
I found the website very informative, and also the videos that you had were very clear about how to take your fingerprints and also take the palm prints. So, you know, quick question: I did the fingerprints. Was that related to the handprints? So, like, was that just in case the fingerprints weren't clear?
Yeah, often the fingerprints can be smudged when people do the handprints. If you move your hand a tiny bit, it can make the fingerprints very difficult to read. And also, people with very fine skin, which is known as silk skin, their prints are really, really hard to get anyway. Really, really hard. So, you know, that's why I've got pictures on there to show how clear they should be. Because otherwise I can't do an accurate reading, and I won't do any reading at all if I can't read. You know, I'm not going to guess. You know, that's out obviously. So yeah, I'm trying to put the emphasis on how the clarity, how clear the prints have to be to get a very clear life purpose reading. Yeah.
And you definitely did do a good job of explaining it, and it wasn't that hard to do. You know, I did it, and it was actually a fun little project that I completed. And, you know, the reading, I was very, very impressed, extremely accurate, and I can't wait to listen to it again and to learn more from it, because obviously, you can learn more from each listen. So,
And you can let me know, Mark, if you, when you re-listen to it, if there's anything you don't understand, you sort of think, oh, hang on, I didn't really understand that at the time, or that doesn't make sense, or whatever, just contact me and we'll go back over things.
okay. Do you have any last words or closing comments before we sign off?
Oh, that's tricky. I can't think of anything I haven't already said, apart from, go with what's pulling you. Spirit leads, I believe, and spirit pulls, and that's what I would say. Go with what's pulling you, what excites you, what fills you up, and also, for me, and I don't know, I think it's a good focus, is how is it going to make other people, how am I going to affect other people by my choice here? That's how I look at things anyway, and it seems to work out. It's just working out for me now more and more, so that's it.
Well, I just want to say, Sue, you definitely have a most awesome talent, and it's a science, like I said, and it's remarkable. And I just want to wish you the best. So we're going to sign off,
Thank you,
and
Mark.
this was Mark, and we had a wonderful tea with, and it was a great hand analysis. And we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Bye.